guys, we are back with another song by Eminem. And which one are we doing today?
So today we're doing Like Home featuring Alicia Keys. I don't know if you know it.
I don't know.
So prior to that, there is an interlude called Revival. That's the name of it. So we're gonna listen to that first, then we're gonna do Like Home.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so the Revival interlude was by it's a woman whose vocals Eminem liked. I think it's her song.
Okay.
And they decided they wanted to make Like Home based on the music of the interlude that they used, but she apparently passed away in the
Oh, it's sad.
meantime. So then they got Alicia Keys to do their little twist on it.
Okay. That's cool.
But
It's pretty
yes.
cool.
So we will listen. First, we're going to do the interlude, obviously, because that comes first. There's a few lyrics. We'll just read through it quick, and then we'll do Like Home breakdown like we normally do.
Okay. That
Yes.
sounds good.
All right.
And this video is sponsored by Carnivore Snacks. Today we have the chuck flavor, which is extremely good. So Carnivore Snacks is like a dried meat snack. I'll show you what it looks like that. Like literally like a dried and nice and salty slice of beef. And it is such a great snack. It's only got 2 ingredients. It is 100% grass-fed chuck and Redmond real salt. They have a bunch of other varieties as well. You should definitely check out their website. And it's super delicious and so good. It's only grass-fed, nothing bad for you in here. It's just a really good snack to eat. And you can use our coupon code, it's with Smith, and you will save 15% off your order. And the link is in the description below. You can also use this coupon code for my other favorite meat snack, which is Chomps. So Carnivore Snacks is dried meat. It is not a jerky, but this is a beef jerky. And Chomps is the best beef jerky ever. It is super soft and moist and delicious and grass fed as well. Only good ingredients and minimal ingredients like Carnivore Snacks is. And you can use our coupon code with Smith for 10% off your order and an additional 10% off subscriptions. And you can also use this coupon code for SeatGeek where you can buy tickets for a concert, sporting event, literally anything. We used them before we were sponsored by them. It was a great experience. Everything was electronic and we didn't need a paper ticket, which I really loved. And you can use our coupon code to save $20 off your first purchase ever. And the link for that's in the description below. Check out our Amazon storefront if you want to. It's there as well. Like and subscribe. Follow us on social medias if you want to. Yeah, that's it from me.
So yes, as I mentioned, this is track number, let's see, I think 8. This is track 8. It's called Revival, and then it says interlude in parentheses. So
Okay.
it's technically the title track of the album. Um,
Interesting.
it is interesting because there's no vocals by Eminem.
Yeah.
Yes, so we'll do this real
Huh.
quick. Here we go. Revival.
I've drowned in high from the ashes now. I can't recall your laughter. The smoke of every finger grasp ends of what's left over. And the lights in every broken, blown out window scream of nothing. I want to feel it coursing out. This is our revival.
It's really, really pretty.
Beautiful,
Her
right?
voice is really good.
So she goes by the name Alice in the Glass Lake was her stage name. So the lyrics are a little bit wrong here. So
Okay. It kind of seems like that might have been the case.
yeah, so it says I've drowned and high from the ashes. I've drowned and high from the ashes. It's a weird way. So that's what this says in high. It's end high from the ashes. I don't know. Like it's like a poetic thing. I'm not great with those,
I guess. I'm not either, honestly.
And then it says, now I can't recall your laughter. The smoke of everything I'll grasp by ends or what's left over. So again, it's another. So this is
Yeah.
the smoke of everything go grasp. Here it says I'll, like apostrophe ILL, grasp by ends or what's left over. And the lights in every broken, blown out window, screaming, laughing. I like to feel it coursing out. This is our revival.
Okay. So kind of like starting anew.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I don't really. So I get that this is our revival. It's weird. That's what one of the awesome things about music. The words are, I'm not grasping all of them, but like I felt what she's trying to convey just by like the
Yeah.
sound and everything. You know what
I
I
know what
mean?
you mean.
So yeah, I can't recall your laughter. So that's like a kind of a sad thing. Then
Yeah.
the smoke of everything I'll grasp. So it's like, you can't reach it, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It is. It's very like melancholy, but like beautiful, It's like
Yeah.
pretty. So yeah, that is the title track of the album. It's, no Eminem, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
So Revive, I will point out, we didn't discuss this, but like Revival goes with it was Relapse and then Recovery and then Revival. So it's like the R theme. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and like one word
Yes.
and like related words.
Yeah, for sure. Um, So yeah, if you think about it, the relapse, obviously he relapsed, and then recovery, he's clean, and then the revival is like he feels like he's alive again. You know what I mean? Like he feels. It almost implies that he feels like he was before the relapse or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then yeah, so when you're listening to the CD, that intro, that interlude bleeds right into this song, like
Okay.
directly. So we're gonna pick it up here, and we will break it down. Here we go. Like home.
Yo, shout to everybody who's been on this trip with me. You don't have to agree, but if you feel like me, someone get this area in a sheet. Time to bury him, so tell him to prepare to get impeached. Everybody on your feet. This is where terrorism and heroism meet. Square off in the street. This chump barely even sleeps. All he does is watch Fox News like a parrot and repeats while he looks like a canary with a beak. Why you think he banned transgenders from the military with a tweet? He's trying to divide us, this shit's like a cult, but like Johnny, he'll only unite us, cause nothing inside us drives us like this fight does. Similar to when two cars collide, cause our spirits crushed, and this spot's a tight one. But here the jaws of life come to pull us from the wreckage, that's what we get pride from. When we can't from our stars and stripes, but this type of pickle that we're in's hard to deal. But there's always tomorrow still, if we start from scratch, like a scab, get the scars to heal. And band together for Charlottesville and for Heather. Fallen heroes, fill his wall with murals. Nevada, get up, hit the damn resetter. Let's start from zero, this is our renewal. Spray tan, get rid of, get a brand new better America, and here's to where it all
began.
Stand up.
Here's to the land that made me who I am,
Hands up.
Here's to the land that raised me. This one for the only place that really knows me. For the cracks in the road that drove me. There's no place like home.
Didn't wanna.
Is that Alicia Keys?
It is.
It doesn't sound like her.
It sounds a little different. So
Yeah.
first, do you recall the song at all, or no?
No, I've never heard this.
Yeah. So again, like
You
I've
say you
said on
showed
every
me a
video,
lot of, I don't,
we skimmed through the album. I
yeah,
skimmed through it with you when it
I
first came
definitely
out.
never heard that chorus. That's for sure.
Yeah. So it's an interesting song.
Yeah, it's very political. Like anyone who
Obviously.
watches us and knows us, like I don't like listening to songs that are super politically driven. It's just
So
not
this
my thing.
this whole song's about Donald Trump, which
That's
is
clear.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
But then the chorus is quite patriotic, which I find very interesting.
so that's his point. He loves America, right? And he's like, this is the greatest country in the world, but you're not a good representative. That's pretty much his message. You know what I mean? To Trump,
Mhm.
like, you suck. You're not really standing for our values. And it's meant to be an anthem. You hear the way the music is arranged. It's meant to be
Yeah.
like a like a fighting anthem
Fight
protest type thing.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll break it down. So he says, yeah, shout out to everybody who's been on this trip with me. You don't have to agree, but if you feel like me,
So basically saying like he understands that some of his fans may have different views than him, but
yeah,
he's still gonna,
a lot of his fans, which is interesting, which, as I
interesting.
said, we'll get back in when we get to the next album. He addresses it head on, you know.
Yeah.
So he starts off first verse. He says, "Someone get this Aryan a sheet. Time to bury him. So tell him prepare to get impeached."
So it's towards Donald Trump. He's calling him a white supremacist, basically, and then saying to impeach him.
Yeah, and then the sheets, obviously, an allusion to the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, that's why I was saying he's calling him a white supremacist,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, and the Aryans, obviously, the Nazis were, the Aryan race, all that shit. So
Hmm.
then the sheet kind of goes with bury him. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
Oh yeah, a
There's
little,
there's
yeah.
some interesting bars in here. You know. Then he says, "Everybody on your feet. This is where." This is where they wrote it twice. This is where terrorism and heroism meet. Square up in the streets.
So saying like everyone should fight.
Yeah, the
Okay.
t- Trump and I guess his supporters are the terrorists, and then the people fighting against them would be the heroes squaring up in the street. Then he continues. He says, "This chump barely even sleeps. All he does is watch Fox News like a parrot and repeats, while he looks like a canary with a beak. Why you think he banned transgenders from the military with a tweet?" So there's a little bird scheme
Yeah,
there.
I saw that, like the canary and then the tweet,
The
Twitter.
Yes, and then the beak, and then the parrot, and then tweet. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically saying like Donald Trump just like doesn't think for himself. He just repeats what he hears and basically just saying like he's dumb and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, which is interesting, I not to get like all into politics. So I followed politics a lot during this time, like when this was going on with Trump. And so the argument that all he does is watch Fox News like a parrot and repeats, that's totally true. Like he does watch the news, right? And he says the things,
That
but
like they say in the news.
yeah, for
That's
sure. He
funny.
definitely did it. There was stuff that like wasn't on his radar, and then you'd hear like Tucker Carlson talking about it, and then all of a sudden Trump's talking about it. It's true, it happened, right? But so like from what I observed, people say that he's a white supremacist or a racist. So I personally don't believe that. I just think he likes anybody who likes him. I don't know if you remember like with Kim Jong Un, he was saying he's like the greatest when he went to go meet him.
Yeah.
So I don't think he actually gives a shit about race. I think he's a narcissist. I think he cares about whatever's going to benefit him. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he
Like,
cares about, that's why he's a billionaire.
of
He
course.
cares about just himself, his name, his family.
Yeah, so like if you're
He's very narcissistic.
it,
Like what he said to his daughter, he was basically like, "Oh, like if I weren't her father, I'd be dating her."
yeah, it's
Like that's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, wild stuff. But my point is that like I truly do believe that he doesn't give a shit if you're black or white or gay or straight. If you're nice to him or if he can make money with you, that's all he cares about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like come to think of it, I've never actually heard him say that he dislikes any one group of people.
No.
He
But people
does
would argue his
refer to them in like not the most appropriate of ways for
of
a president to
course.
refer to a group of people.
Yeah. So there's a few points that Eminem makes in this song, and I'll let you know what I understood them to be at the time. So all right. So
Yeah.
real quick to get back to this. So he does the bird scheme, which you pointed out, parrots, canary, beak, and then why do you think he banned transgenders from the military with a tweet?
He
So
really did that?
so he didn't do it with a tweet. He literally
He
signed.
tweeted about it.
Yeah, he signed an
Okay.
order and then did it. But obviously, he's doing this for the scheme.
Yeah.
So to be fair, I do think to most people, when he wrote it on Twitter, that's when they found out about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like kind of like one. And then yes, at the time, that's true. He did. He said if you're transgender, you can't serve in the military because there was a controversy in the Obama administration where there was someone in the military who was transgender, and then the military ended up paying for it, so there was that issue that people had, and then there was
Okay.
other
Like
issues.
thinking that if you're in the military, then they will pay for your gender
Transition.
reassignment surgery.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, you hear about
It's an
that.
incentive, yeah.
Why wouldn't, if you wanted gender reassignment surgery, why wouldn't you join the military and then drop out?
For sure.
But they could make terms for that. They could literally say, okay, if you're going to come into the military, you have to stay in the military for X amount of years for everyone.
Yeah.
And then people who were interested, actually interested, would be the ones who joined and not just for the free surgery.
Yeah. And then and in that tweet, I believe that he said that he spoke with like high level military people and like at least at that time they said they agreed, like they think this is the right policy, whatever. But that's what he's referring to.
Yeah. Oh,
So
and just like really quick for anyone who doesn't really know us, we're like more like moderate. I would say more like libertarian if you have to put a word to it.
depends on
Like
the
we don't
issue.
really, yeah, but like we don't really like we're not like extreme.
So
Really any
depends on what you're talking about, you know.
it depends. Well, just like everyone has their own personal views on certain aspects of things like
But I'm saying like I think like taxes should be abolished. That's a
oh yeah,
pretty
I don't like
extreme
being taxed.
that's an extreme view though. That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
Who
But
likes
yeah,
being taxed?
well, I'm literally like
Do you
it's
like being
it's
taxed?
theft and the Fed, like those are like considered extreme views. All right,
I
whatever.
guess, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes. So then he says he's trying to divide us. This shit is like a cult, but like Johnny, he'll only unite us.
Who's
So this is a
Johnny?
reference I wouldn't expect you to know. So Johnny Unitas, he was a football player.
Oh, like that's a last name.
Yes.
Okay.
So Unitas, yeah, and then unite us. So he played for I believe it was Baltimore at the time, Colts.
Okay.
So what Eminem does, he said he's trying to divide us. The shit is like a cult, CULT, but like Johnny, he'll only unite us. So he played for the Colts, the COLT, Johnny Unitas.
Okay.
So he's doing a play there. Then he
Okay.
continues, because nothing drives us inside like this fight does, similar to when two cars collide, because our spirits are crushed. The spot's a tight one. So he's saying, we're divided and like two cars are colliding and our spirits are crushed and we're in a tight spot. So he's using the imagery of a car accident and being,
Yeah, like saying like
confined.
that's how everyone feels, or at least
Yes.
people with his views
Yes.
feel.
Then it continues, but here the jaws of life come to pull us from the wreckage. That's what we get pride from. That's what we get pride from. So hold on. I have the lyrics here. I feel like some of these words are like worded very oddly. That's what we get pride from when we can't from our stars and stripes, cause this type of pickle that we're in is hard to deal, but there's always tomorrow still. So he's saying, okay, the jaws of life, which I guess he's implying that like not necessarily him, but like the people who are against Trump are the jaws of life that are here to like save the country from him, right? And then he said that's where we get pride when you can't have pride in the stars and stripes, meaning like you don't have pride in
Yeah,
the
like you're not
country
happy
because of
with
the
where you're
leader.
living. Yeah.
And then he says, because this type of pickle we're in, it's hard to deal. So he says,
Like
deal.
dill.
Yeah. And he says, but there's
I
always
like
tomorrow.
pickles.
Yeah, there's
Garlic
always,
ones are so much better though.
yeah. And then he says, there's always tomorrow still, meaning, maybe tomorrow things will get better. And then he says, if we start from the scratch like a scab for scars to heal and band together for Charlottesville and for, I think, no, he mentions, and for Heather, fallen,
Heather.
fallen heroes, fill this wall with murals. Nevada, get up, hit the damn resetter. Okay, so he does scratch, scab, scars, right?
And then band-aid.
Yes, so band, and then so he says band together for Charlottesville.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember that was there was a there was a Confederate statue that was being taken down in Virginia, in Charlottesville, and there was two things going on. There was people that were opposed to it, all different types of people, feel however you feel, but there was like non-racist people that were like, hey, this is history, whatever.
Yeah.
But then what happened was there was a rally called Unite the Right. And the idea was to get every branch of right wing people. So that would include, like, theoretically, it would include, like, regular conservatives and right wing libertarians, but then also literal white supremacists. You know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah, so like the whole spectrum, which is like it's a big spectrum.
Yes, so that happened. Antifa showed up from the left, and the Antifa and some of the radical right wing people started fighting in the streets. There was violence, there was like mayhem. And
Yeah.
then one of the dudes from the right wing, he was in his car and he ran over and killed this girl her name was Heather.
I didn't know that,
Yeah,
I
so
don't think.
there was one person that died in that, and that was her. She
Oh,
was
jeez.
yeah, she was innocent, regardless of whether she was involved in the fighting or not. She, didn't
Yeah.
deserve to die.
Yeah.
So that's why, Charlottesville's it's known, it's like a big deal because someone died, as a result of that. And then so he continues, so then he says, and for Heather, fallen hero. So he's referring to her as a fallen hero because she was fighting against, negativity, they believe, for real. I mean, there were some really not good people
Yeah.
there. Like there's no denying that. And then he says, fill this wall with murals, obviously for the lost. Then he says, Nevada, get up, hit the damn resetter.
What happened in Nevada?
So Nevada was the Vegas shooting.
Yes.
So that's what he's referring to.
Did the Vegas shooter say he was a
No,
Republican?
no. So I get, so
You see
that
what I
is a little
mean?
confusing.
Yeah.
He's just saying fill his wall with murals. So he's going from one thought of the victims of, political violence to the murals of fallen heroes. And then more examples of fallen heroes are the people from the Vegas shooting that got killed. So yeah, as far as we
Okay.
know, that wasn't political. It's very odd.
Yeah, I didn't think it was
To
political.
this day, we have no idea what was going on with him, which is
I
very
think he
sketchy.
was just I think he was just went a little crazy, very
Yeah.
crazy.
There's some wild stuff going on there. Whatever, though.
A
We
lot of the
still don't know.
times, I mean, this is so off topic, but a lot of the times it's like brain tumors, like severe, believe it or not, traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that was the case with him. There's some other shit
We'll
that,
never know.
yeah, there's some weird stuff going on. Either way, then he says, hit the damn resetter. Let's start from zero. This is our renewal. Spray tan, get rid of. They wrote ride of. Spray tan, get rid of. Get a brand new, better America. And here's to where we're from. No, it's actually and here's to where it all. So the lyrics are wrong there. So yeah, he's saying let's start over, right? Let's get rid of Donald Trump. We'll start new, and
Look at who we
let's
got.
yeah, Joe Biden. Great.
Ugh.
Okay, and then we get into the chorus, which is Alicia Keys. This is where it all began. All began. Stand up. Here's to the land that made me and made me who I am. Who I am. Here's to the land that raised me. Um, There's home for the only place.
It kind of doesn't make much
No,
sense.
it's here's to the land that raised me. This one for the only place that really knows me, for the cracks in the road that drove me. There's no place like home.
Okay.
So it's a ballad to America. Like I love this
Yeah,
country. It's I believe in its values, all that
which
stuff.
is
So
nice.
it's self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's it. We're gonna play out the rest of the song
Okie
here.
dokie.
There's no place like home.
Didn't wanna piss your face off, did you? Can't denounce the clan cause they play golf with you. You stay on Twitter, way to get your hate off, Nazi. I do not see a way y'all differ. And all you got are race cards, big at the swastika with your name carved in it. Should be your trademark, cause hate's all you played off. And you just licked the plate off, so I guess it pays to feed off of chaos. So basically you ate off Hitler. But you ain't ruining our country, punk, or taking our pride from us. You won't define us, cause like a dictionary, things are looking up so much, got a sprained neck. No, we will rise up against this train wreck and take a stand, even if it means sitting when they raise the flag to sing the Star-Spangled Banner. This man just praised the statue of General Lee, cause he generally hates the black people, degrades Hispanics. Take it back to the shady national convention. Wish I would've spit on it before I went to shake his hand at the event, or maybe had the wherewithal to know that he was gonna try to tear apart a sacred land we cherish and stand for. So hands in the air, let's tear it for the start of a brand new America. Without him and be proud of where we're from. And here's to where it all
began. All began.
Stand up.
Here's to the land that made me who I am, who I am.
Hands up.
Here's to the land that raised me. This one for the only place that really know me. For the cracks in the road that drove me. There's no place like home. I won't give up. I won't give up on my home that so many died for. You already know that I won't give up. I won't give up on my home that so many died for. You already know there's no place like home, no place like home. Wherever I go, no place like home, no place like home, no place like home. Wherever I go, yeah, it's where it all began, all began. It's the land that made me who I am, who I am. It's the land that raised me. This one for the only place that really know me. For the cracks in the road that drove me. There's no place like home.
Okay.
People are probably gonna be like, your reaction was so bland. And I'm like, honestly, I just wasn't really feeling it. The
Yeah.
chorus is good. But like I said, I'm not really into super politically driven music, whether it's like one end of the or the other. Like it's just not for me.
Yeah, this is probably my least favorite song on the album, and it has little to do with the content. It's just something, I don't know, there's something at the end we'll discuss why I think me and a lot of people weren't crazy about this song, this album, you know. Um, all right. So, second verse, Eminem comes in, he says, "Didn't want to piss your bass off, did ya? Can't denounce the clan because they play golf with ya." So he is alluding to during the campaign, Trump was doing an interview, and David Duke, who was a former Ku Klux Klan member, um, said he was going to vote for Trump and like endorsed him effectively. And they asked Trump in an interview, they're like, "What do you have to say about that?" And Trump was like, "Oh, I don't know who he is." Meaning, so like he wouldn't denounce him, and he was full of shit. He knew who he was, right? Like,
Yeah.
and he was, he was purposely not saying no, fuck you, because he wanted
The vote.
the votes from the people that supported him. Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
It's
a
it's
vote's a vote.
it. I know it's grimy. All
I mean,
politics is grimy,
oh yeah.
But that this is what he's referring
If
to.
you were running for president and a whole entire group of people that allegedly like just a bunch of people would vote for
Well,
you,
that's the yeah,
I mean, well, you'd be like, no, God, don't vote for me. Like,
yeah. Of course. I mean, he
you
didn't
want to be president. I mean, it's fucked up, but
he didn't do himself any favors,
yeah.
by playing dumb. And it was obvious he was playing dumb. David Duke's been in like public life since like the 80s or whatever. He like ran for office years ago. So like
Yeah, he's the bad
there's
guy.
no way Trump didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And then as far as they play golf with you, I don't know if I doubt that's true, but
It's just
whatever.
it's more I think of not necessarily relating to David Duke. I think he's just sort of saying like all the rich white men who play golf like that on like a Tuesday
They
afternoon with
probably feel the
Donald
same
Trump are
way.
probably white
Racists.
supremacists, which
Yeah,
I mean, maybe some of them are. I don't think they're all like that.
I
I
doubt it.
really don't.
Yeah. And it also depends what you're defining a white supremacist as. That word gets thrown around a lot
Yeah,
now.
like okay, so especially celebrities, they tend to not have a very normal view of the general public. Most people, I will say, are more like us and are just like in the middle, like what are all of you talking about and saying and
Yeah.
doing and why? Like it just
Everybody sucks.
yeah, like most people are not that extreme, and celebrities get a lot of their information from like news sources and journalists, and they try and skew their their perception of the public. So like they really think that like the whole entire country is just crazy and like severely extremely liberal and just want everything one way or another, and it's just not that way.
Yeah.
If you think it is, you're extremely wrong, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Plus, and people also hate the idea that they're getting preached to, so, not that I
That's
think,
exactly why I don't like it.
That was Eminem's intention. Like, I think in his mind, when he created the song, he really felt like he was doing something good. But I think to a lot of people, they felt like it was no different than the people in Hollywood that were like telling you who to vote for and saying you're a racist if you voted a different way than I did.
Exactly.
You know
But
what I
then they
mean?
also don't really like, I don't love Donald Trump, but he's not a white supremacist. He
Yeah.
allowed his daughter to marry a Jewish man. Do you think real white supremacists do that?
Yeah, his grandkids are Jewish, which is interesting.
Exactly.
So, all right, we'll
And
finish
like
this.
you may be like, oh, I'm not listening to a bunch of white people say this. Well, I'm half Samoan, so
It's true. So he continues, he says, you stay on Twitter. Way to get your hate off, Nazi. I do not see a way y'all differ. So he's like, you're always on Twitter, you're
he
preaching
does say
hate.
a lot of fucked up things
Oh
on
yeah, of
Twitter that
course.
he really shouldn't.
And then so Eminem, he does the Nazi, and then he says, I do not see the way y'all differ, meaning I don't see how you are different than a Nazi, which, I mean, there's a lot of blatant differences
And
if
yeah,
you look at what
one
the
group
Nazis did.
caused mass genocide of
Yeah,
6 million people, but
yeah. And then he says, and all you got, all you got are race cards, I think he says. Bigot. The swastika with your name carved in it. So he's saying, oh, he's constantly playing the race card, which I don't know. And then the swastika with your name carved in it. I doubt that's
does
actually
he
true.
have
I doubt it.
Nazi paraphernalia?
I doubt it. But whatever. We
I
get
mean, I will say if he does, there are a lot of people out there who collect it and are not Nazis. It's just because they're obsessed with history.
yeah. I mean, that's not the
Like I
implication
know
here.
Jewish people who have Nazi paraphernalia,
Yeah, that would
which
make
sounds
sense.
really crazy, but like they do.
Yeah, no, of course. So, I mean, the implication is no, you support what the Nazis did. Then he
Hmm.
says, should be your trademark because it's all you played off, and you just took the plate. Wait, okay, and you just
Plate
took the
off.
plate off. So now there's actually a cool little scheme he does here. Um, okay, here we go. Because hates all you played off, and you just lick the plate off. So I guess it pays to feed off chaos. So basically, you ate off Hitler. So there's a
Okay,
cool
so
little.
literally saying he has like actual swastika plates
It says
is
it should be your trademark because it's all you played off. Meaning the swastika should be your trademark because you're playing off of the scheme, the tropes and the things that Nazis do, right? And then he says you
yeah.
should lick the plate off. So here he's introducing plate, right? Lick the plate because that's what you
Yeah.
played off. He says so. I guess it pays to feed off chaos. So kind of alluding here too that like he's just feeding off of chaos, right?
Yeah,
But he
which
does.
he definitely
Oh, for
does.
sure. So then he does plate and then feed, and
Yeah, so it's like
then
a food
the
scheme.
next line. So it's basically you ate off Hitler because you feed
Okay.
off of it, right? So you ate off Hitler, and then obviously Adolf Hitler. So it's a play on his name. Then he continues, but you ain't running our country, punk. You won't take our pride from us. You won't define us. So he's saying, you don't you don't represent us. Because like a dictionary, things are looking up. Self-explanatory bar there.
Mm,
So much we got a sprained neck. No, we would rise up against this train wreck and take a stand, even if it means sitting when they raise the flag.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, and then sitting is different than Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
like,
the knee is kind of like could be seen as respectful. Sitting is like a whole different bag of worms. You know what I mean?
yeah, like
Can of
no matter
worms.
who's running the country, you don't have to like them, but you should still respect the actual country that we live in.
I would think so.
I mean, regardless
So,
of who's running it, like you live here.
so to be fair, that's what Eminem is trying to do in the song. That's his thing. But he says, you can
That's why I
sit for the
said what I
flag.
said. Yeah.
So
Shouldn't sit.
then he says, "This ain't the Star Spangled Banner. This man just praised the statue of General Lee because he generally hates the black people, degrades Hispanics."
So
So
that's a statue that they took down. The
yes,
Robert E. Lee,
yes,
who
which
was well known for
well,
the
he was the
Confederate.
he was a Confederate general
Yeah.
opposite Ulysses S. Grant. Interestingly enough, after the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln asked General Lee to be the head of the military for the new United States again that came back together.
That's interesting because
Well, he
Lincoln
was trying to,
supported desegregation and
slavery.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he was trying to patch things over, because the South tried to secede leave the
Yeah.
country, and he was like, okay, we need to like come back together. We need to like incorporate these
So we had to
people.
figure out
So
how to get them on his side.
yeah, so Lee didn't end up doing it, but he was offered the position, and then so there was the statue of Lee. You know, people were related to him, whatever. So again, this whole statue thing, like honest people could have different opinions on whether there should or shouldn't be a statue. Some people say it's history, some people say put it in
So,
a museum. You know what I mean?
well, Robert E. Lee stood for some like shitty things, right? Shitty
I would
things.
imagine by default he was
Yeah,
on
we
them.
shouldn't be praising him, but we shouldn't forget what he did. And having his statue there reminds us of what not to do. Completely getting rid of him from history. Like, who said if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it?
Yeah, I think
A
it's
million people have said that
yeah,
for
for
good
sure.
reason. So if we just forget about him, like, great, we can just pretend like he didn't exist because he was a piece of shit. But someone else can be like, hey, this seems like a good idea. And like, no one's tried it before. It's
Yeah,
like,
no,
well, they have. It's just we erased him off the earth and now no one remembers what he did
I
and what was bad about it.
I agree. I personally feel they probably should have left it up. Now there is an argument
Or they
that,
could have moved it somewhere else.
so that's what people
I don't
say.
know.
There's people say you should put it in a museum. You know, it doesn't need to be
Yeah,
up.
like a museum about like, to learn
Civil
about
War.
American history and what was wrong and like just so we always know what is the right thing to do cuz you'll be surprised a lot of the times like no one does the right thing.
So so he's referring to that. Where Trump said, you know, it's American history, blah blah blah, and then he also said, interesting, and he was ridiculed at the time. He's like, before you know it, they're going to be taking down statues of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, and
And we can't have that. George Washington was the first president
no,
of
but no,
America.
but they did. They already have.
What?
Yeah, that's
We
the
took
thing. They made fun of
statues
him.
down of George
They're
Washington?
like, you're ridiculous, you know. They're like, you're being crazy, and it did. They took down statues of Lincoln. They renamed schools from Lincoln because even he's not good enough. So it's very interesting. But Trump was mocked at the time for saying,
We're going to forget all of our history.
this is the road we're going down. And then, yeah, so that was a big thing. So, all right, back to the song. He generally, and then he does a play on his name, he generally hates black people and degrades Hispanics. Again, I don't necessarily believe that, but whatever.
Yeah, because so what happens is journalists will watch things that Donald Trump has said and then pull bits and pieces out of it that they want to say he said. Because I've read those articles and then I've watched what he actually said. And whether I like Donald Trump or not, he most of the time doesn't actually say it the way that they say he does. And he clearly doesn't mean it like that.
Yeah, he
Like,
don't
he does have a very unpolished way of speaking
for sure.
and uses some terms he probably shouldn't because you have to remember his age group. Like, I guarantee you go talk to any boomer and a lot of them say some things that a millennial would literally like cover their ears and be like, oh my God, don't say that. Or especially Gen Z would be like, oh my God, don't say that. Like, they all just talk like that, but they don't mean it like that.
Yeah,
Like, they're not, they just, they just talk like that, but they don't mean it. I don't know how to explain it.
yeah, no, I agree.
Like, I don't
Uh,
think the man's a racist. I think he's an idiot.
yeah, I don't think he cares enough to be
No.
racist. Again, I think he'll use anybody that'll help him. You know what I
If you're
mean?
offended by being like, if you're offended if someone talks about you or the group that you're a part of in like just sort of a casual way, then I guess it is offensive. But he
Yeah,
hasn't really said anything that
yeah. So this next line is where I believe a lot of um the reason Eminem did this song. So I'm not implying that Eminem doesn't feel this way or doesn't want to make this song. I do believe everything he's saying in here, he 100% agrees. But he mentioned the Shady Convention. Now, back in 2004, Eminem's album Encore came out, and he unlike MTV, he said he was running for president, and he had Donald Trump come out and endorse him for president. So they were like shaking hands. So like Eminem was cool with Donald Trump back then. So
Donald Trump also was a Democrat back then.
that's true. He
Believe it or
was.
not, he switched parties. He was not always on the Republican
No, yeah,
side.
he was on the left for most of his
Yeah,
career,
most
Democrats.
of it, for
Actually,
sure.
to the point where so were his kids that I
His
think
kids are Democrat.
well, not anymore, but one of
Really?
them,
I thought his daughter was.
no, she worked in the White House. She was so they're definitely more left leaning than him, but they
Yeah.
switched parties. But one of them couldn't vote in the primary for him because they didn't change parties soon enough,
Oh my
which was
God.
funny. But anyway, so the Shady National Convention was back in, I think it was 2004 when Encore came out. So he says, take it back to the Shady National Convention. Wish I would have spit on it.
His hand.
Wish I would have spit on it before I went to shake his hand. Gotcha. At the event.
No, that's just gross. Come
Yes.
on.
Then he says, or maybe had the wherewithal to know that he was going to try to tear apart a sacred land we cherish and stand for. So,
I will tell you, I played softball and I was probably in second grade and we beat the shit out of this other team. We won by so many points. And this little freaking C word spit on our hands and then high fived all of us. And it was absolutely
we
disgusting.
always did shit like that when we
But
played
not to
sports.
girls. Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Then he continues, hands in the air. Let's hear it for the start of a brand new America without him and be proud of. And then it goes to the chorus again. This is where it all began. Maybe who I am, the land that raised me. Then there's a little, let's see, interlude. Blah, blah, blah. I won't give up. I won't give up on my home that so many died for. You already know that I won't give up. I won't give up on my home that so many died for. Where you already know there's no place like home, no place like home. Wherever I go, no place like home, no place like home, wherever I go. And then is that it, right? Yeah, then you
Yeah,
hear
that's it.
Eminem kind of giving a few lines with Alicia Keys. All right, that is it. So, like home.
So I will say, the chorus is great. He's got some cool rap schemes in there that are good. It's pretty much just a song completely shitting on Donald
That's the
Trump.
whole
Like that's
song
the whole
is.
point of the song.
Yeah,
And like saying that he's a white supremacist and that he is a racist. And you guys are followers or anyone watching this video of us for the first time who don't know us, like I said, we don't really lean one way or the other. We do have our own views on certain social issues or like personal issues like taxes. I don't think we should be being taxed as much as we are, but like,
at all.
no, I don't like, I never liked the way Donald Trump came off to the public. Did he say some stupid things that he shouldn't have said? 100%. But I really did watch every single thing he ever put out there. I watch every single thing Joe Biden puts out there. I just watch everything because I've learned that reading these articles and listening to these journalists, they lie to you. They tell you that someone has said something that they didn't. They tell you that someone has said something like the opposite of what they said, or they haven't given you the full picture. So I always like watch for myself. And you really have to do your own homework, your own research to really get the big picture. Donald Trump is an idiot. He doesn't know how to talk to people, but he's not a racist.
I think he
He
is
just
either.
says some he just says things really stupidly.
Yeah. So what I was so there's a few things about this song, the subject we're talking about and stuff. So like Jesus, I just blanked on the exact thing I was gonna say. Okay. So like I said, I do believe Eminem, feels this way. And I give him credit. He acknowledged it in like the other song that he knows that when he makes songs like this, it's gonna turn off people, even his own base, which is ultimately gonna affect his bottom line. He's gonna get less money. Not that he needs more money, but
Yeah.
nobody wants to lose
But if
fans.
these are really his views, then that's fine. Like if you
Yes.
want to let people know what your views are, that's fine too. I mean,
So
almost every single celebrity lets everyone know what their political views are. I don't think it's a good idea because
so
you alienate an entire 50% of the country. Because if you look at how people vote every single year, it's almost like 49, it's around like 50-50. It's really not that, it's very, very close, is what I'm trying to say. So there is a whole half of the country who believes a different way than you do.
Yeah, so that's actually partially what I was gonna say. Like you were talking about, the media sucks, and it really doesn't matter. The right wing media does the same shit as the left wing media,
Yeah,
you
they
know.
both absolutely
But
completely suck. There's no libertarian media though.
the point is that like I think a lot of people were off put by songs like this from Eminem for a few reasons. One, they felt like they were being preached to, right? They felt like this is the same shit I'm seeing on every news channel, every magazine, every Hollywood celebrity. They're all saying the same thing,
Yeah.
and they're pretty much implying, "Oh, you're a bad person if you voted for Donald Trump. Like if you
Or
don't."
you're just a bad person if you don't vote the way that I do.
Yes, so I think people felt like that and they were very off put. You know what I mean? They were
Well,
like,
sometimes that message does work. You literally scare people into thinking that they're shitty people. So you force them onto your side whether they want to be there or not.
yeah. So I think that a lot of people were like, they were kind of turned off by that. And again, Eminem, so he did this with Encore. He went after George W. Bush a lot, and it didn't do as well as his previous albums, and he knew that, and he still decided to do this. So I give him credit for that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he
like
believes
you
it.
can let people know how you feel, just like we just let everyone know how we feel about this song and effectively our politics.
Yeah, and so this is a weird thing. So Eminem talking about you're a bad person and you're racist and you're sexist and homophobic. It's like, is the irony lost that how many people go after him because of those things? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Like things that Eminem had said in his past.
so, and I could almost assume that somebody like Eminem would say, "Yeah, I'm an artist. I'm doing art. He's the president of the country. This is different," which is true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With that being said, though, it still is weird coming from Eminem. You know what I'm saying?
Now I know
Who
what you
who
mean.
says wild, crazy things, and he does it artistically, and we understand it's not real, right?
Yeah.
But it just sounds odd coming from somebody who said so many wild things. But again,
Well, his assumption is that like everything that he hears that Donald Trump has said is out of hate and meanness.
yeah. So, and again, I would imagine I can't read minds, but he would say, "Yes, that's art. This is the president of the country. These are two totally different things."
Yeah.
I get that. But
But what Trump says isn't out of meanness. Like he thinks he's funny. Like when he
well,
calls like Kim Jong
it
Un Rocket Man, like
so it depends. A lot of it's meanness, which is funny part when he is intentionally mean to people. You know what I mean? Like that's what he was hysterical. He's the funniest president we've ever had by far.
yeah, but he's not
He was an asshole. He was a dick.
like you guys are gonna fight us on this so bad, but I've
I
never
don't know about
actually
that.
seen anything that he has said that was actually vehemently racist, where he was like, I don't like this group, or I don't like this group, or we should put down these people, or we should put down these people. I haven't seen it.
No, again, my opinion, I don't think he cares enough about any other group. I don't think he cares enough about white people to be a white supremacist. I think Donald Trump cares about Donald Trump. He will be friends with anybody that's nice to him. He'll say nice things about them. If he can make money with you, cool. He
And
doesn't
if he
care.
doesn't like you, he'll just shit on your whole life.
Of course. And then interestingly enough, not to like boost for Donald Trump, he was the first US president to enter the White House pro gay marriage.
That is
He
true.
the first ever because Obama he converted while he was in office. When he was running the first time, he was against it. He was for traditional marriage. Same thing with Hillary
He's also
Clinton.
one of the first Republican presidents to be for gay marriage.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because that was never really a thing. That was always a extreme right wing
So
view.
yeah, so again, not to turn this into like a defense of Donald Trump or anything.
No.
I only and we only say all this to say that some people were rubbed wrongly by songs like this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
Including
also
people that love Eminem, you know?
to put forward that like you should always just look for the truth.
Yeah.
Like don't just listen and believe what people tell you because
Yeah.
you'll be surprised at how
Oh yeah, they're all
much
scumbags.
of a lie it is.
The media.
I couldn't believe some of the things that I'd heard and then went to verify for myself only to find out that it was not true.
Yeah. And the idea that Donald Trump is like the first president that should be hated or like not trusted, I find hysterical because they
None of
every
them
single
should
I know.
be trusted.
I know.
Not even
Not Trump, not
ever.
Biden,
None
not
of
Obama,
them.
not Bush, none of them. They all suck. You know what I mean?
No, I
So
can't even think of maybe like, I mean, like George Washington, it was cool because he was the first president. I mean, like, what I don't even know what he did. I don't know. I guess I
so
don't have
he gave up power,
a
which
favorite
is
president.
crazy. He could have been king and he said
So that was
no.
a pretty
So
cool thing to
yeah, it's
do.
pretty cool.
That was a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I support that. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, like just keep looking for the truth out there.
Yeah.
And
It's hard to find.
of course,
I
and freedom.
I do love
Freedom.
the
Personal freedom.
the revival interlude though, leading into the
Yeah, it is
song. It was
beautiful.
beautiful, even though I couldn't make out half the words, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. It sounded great.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so that was almost an hour of political conversation.
Yeah.
So if you do want to talk more about being libertarian or moderate, our comments are completely open.
Not moderate. Not
But
moderate.
whatever, whatever. I just think everyone should be free to do whatever the fuck they want to do. That's it.
Yes.
You want to, I don't know, sleep with other men and have like 200 guns, like freaking do it. That's awesome. You know,
Like in The Last of Us. The guy that played
literally,
Ron Swanson.
literally.
Yeah.
I think that might have been what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's funny.
So just, I'm Ron Swanson. All
Yes.
right.
All right.
Good
See you
night.
guys. Bye.